Hi guys, it's Lou, and in this video, I'm going to show you and walk you through the number one mistake I see so many new brand or Shopify store owners whenever they start a store. Now, the reason I'm making this video is, first and foremost, I also made this mistake. Second of all, I just got off a call with a potential client who is in process of making this catastrophic mistake, and I want to help you avoid doing the same thing. Out of 20 calls that I make on a day-to-day basis, myself or my sales team, I'd say maybe 17 or 18 also make the same potentially catastrophic mistake, and I want you to help avoid it. But first, why should you listen to me? So, I've built and scaled multiple brands now to 7 figures. I started my own sports nutrition company almost 10 years ago. I've been featured on Shopify Masters podcast. I was GB, so Great British Entrepreneur of the Year finalist. That was back in 2022. I've been featured on BBC Dragon's Den. Basically, I've done a lot in ecom, okay? So hopefully you can learn from my mistakes so that you don't have to make the same stupid mistakes. Okay, so what is this number one mistake that you're probably making or about to make that I see happen so many times? I'll tell you what it is. You're scouting for an idea, you're looking for a business to run. Okay, let's just use the example, in this case, of a supplement brand. You see someone selling creatine and think, oh, that seems pretty easy to get hold of. There's lots of manufacturers doing it. If they can sell it, I can sell it too, okay? That's your number one critical mistake. So what you do is first and foremost, you make an assumption that you can just see something and sell it yourself. Second of all, and this is where it gets really risky, is you then proceed to try and find a manufacturer and you place an order for 2,000 units, okay? Huge problem. Why? Because you completely miss out the whole point of building a brand, whether it doesn't matter if it's on Shopify, whatever platform you're building it on, okay? If you do not understand your core customer and you just think build it and they will come, this is where everyone goes wrong, because now not only have you wasted time, you're never getting, time's your number one non-renewable resource, which you can't make more of, okay? But you've also invested whatever money you've been able to scrape from your job to put into this, and then you realize, oh shit, now I've got 20K worth of stock. But what you don't realize is it's probably going to take you another 20 to 40K to sell that stock, okay? Because it obviously costs you money to have it, to warehouse it, to put it in a 3PL, a third-party logistics company. And you also have an attested cost of sales, which means it costs you to market the product, okay? So actually, this seemingly low 20K investment is actually going to cost you 40, 50K. And what's worse is you have no systems on the back end with which to sell or predictably turn that inventory into cash, okay? I see this so many times. And as I said, I made this mistake, okay? I did it way worse than that, because I sunk 2 years of my life to making a product. 2 years, Never getting that time back. To be fair, I'd never run a company before. I didn't even know what an entrepreneur was. I thought I had a good idea, and to be fair, it did end up being a good idea, but from an execution perspective, I just thought, okay, I'm going to make this amazing product. I'm not going to white label something. I'm going to go even deeper into it, and I'm going to custom formulate a product in a market that's unvalidated, that no one's done anything in before. So again, not understanding my market. And then I'm stuck with all of this inventory that I realized, okay, 2 years of work into this, I've got a semi-reasonable website, but nothing else. I have no infrastructure going on, digital or physical. I was doing the picking and packing from my apartment on the 3rd floor, literally carrying up boxes and pallets like a moron, which is fine in the beginning. But the thing is, I had zero idea. I remember having a bit of a launch event. No one was there, all right? Launch event, in person or digitally, because I didn't know anything about email collection. I just thought, okay, I'm just going to turn the listing on Shopify to active, and then everyone's just going to naturally find me. They're just going to search in, okay, they have this problem. Everything's going to be organically linked up. I'm going to be ranking number 1 on Google. I'm going to put a few social media posts out. I'm going to maybe boost 1 or 2 posts which are terrible graphics, No one knows, likes, and trusts me. No one knows what the brand is. No one knows what the product is. But they're somehow going to find their way to my website, and they're going to buy from me, and I'm going to be rich, and I'm going to live happily ever after, okay? This is the biggest mistake that I see entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs, particularly so in the supplement industry, this is what they do, okay? Time and time again, and they get stuck, they get trapped. Because now, as I said, you have nothing but one massive liability, and you have all of your cash. You still have cash, but that cash now is stored in the form of inventory, and you need to be able to sell that inventory. But to sell the inventory, people have to first know that you exist. Now, the second order consequence of this is if you have a very generic product that you've just white labeled, which is absolutely fine, by the way. The problem is you're probably battling against a red ocean marketplace. And what I mean by red ocean is you're in a very tight competitive space. And this creates so much friction because in a world where the barrier to entry, so anyone can start a store pretty much overnight, anyone can buy some creatine, yeah? Why? Think about it from a customer's perspective, right? Because this is the only thing that matters. It doesn't matter what you think. Remember, the market is intrinsically selfish. It doesn't care about you. It has a problem. It wants its own problem solved. If you were to ask any random person who is a potential customer on the street, why are they going to buy from you versus some multinational conglomerate? Can't even say the word, like Optimum Nutrition or MyProtein or whatever. Why are they going to buy from you? Because you know what? The product is exactly the same, right? The ingredients are the same. Yeah, like why are they going to buy from you? They have no reason to, okay? So now you struggle on the marketing side of things. So you've got inventory that you're going to struggle to sell, and now you have no unique mechanism or way to pitch your product to sell it. Okay, so now you just have one massive liability. This is where I see so many brands, because they ride the wave in of enthusiasm, of excitement, of going to start this new brand, it's millionaire time, yeah, launch, and then just nothing, okay? And they've sunk all this time, all this money, effort, attention, resource into this brand, and it's just crickets, okay? And they realize it's going to cost a fortune. And you also have a very steep learning curve, because let's be honest, no one has a clue about sales and marketing. Like if you have a background in sales and marketing, probably in a B2B or B2C side of things, it's obviously a strong competitive advantage. But in ecom, it's all systems, it's all digital, it's all tech, okay? If you're selling in a store, think about it from a customer side of things. They can come in, you can talk to them, you can sell it to them, they can taste it, try it, touch it, feel it, smell it. Online, you have none of those senses, which is why your infrastructure and systems on the back end have to be dialed in. And this is where, again, others, like so many people go wrong, okay? And even if they do manage to kind of somehow start selling through things, they are so under-optimized on their systems. Like, for example, they would just completely disregard email marketing, okay? Or they don't even know what conversion optimization is on a website, or they haven't got a clue what UGC is, all right? Like, all of this from my side, I know I have 10 years in the game, but this elementary basic stuff, these systems that you need, they don't have the depth of knowledge, okay? But honestly speaking, in today's day and age, there is so much free information out there. So really, if you don't know what these is, it's a problem on your side because you're just not doing the work. It's just very lazy marketing, okay? So this is the mistake I see everyone making. Like, this is where most people quit as well, but not you, okay? If I've just described your situation, I'm gonna show you how to turn it around, okay? And this is hopefully incredibly valuable information for you. And if you haven't made this mistake yet and you're just thinking about getting into e-com, if you're thinking of setting up a supplement brand, I'm gonna show you the correct way to do it, okay? So first and foremost, let's get into it. So in scenario A that I've just talked about is you see a product, you go manufacture it, contract manufacture it, white label it, whatever, or you can even go down the custom formulation route, which is even more expensive, which takes even more time, like I did. I basically created a new product out of thin air. The problem with it is, as I said, you're stuck with all of this inventory that you have no idea how to shift, okay? And the key fundamental principle here is, like, you do not understand your market, all right? Understanding your market is the most important thing you can do, and this is irrespective if you're selling a product or selling a service, okay? So number one, you need to obsess over your market. And the thing you're trying to do as quickly as possible is you're trying to get to product market fit. That's what you're trying to establish as quickly, as painlessly, as cost efficiently as possible. And this has its own strategy. I can do a whole video just on market fit anyway, okay? Now, the correct way to do it is, instead of you going straight to committing cash to inventory, if possible, and I'm not saying this is best case, but what you're trying to do is if you have like a specific niche, or niche, same thing, that you want to operate in, that you want to build a brand around, don't commit cash to inventory. Find like a manufacturer, find a supplier online where you can drop ship it, okay? This way, you don't have to commit cash to inventory. You can literally be paid from the customer, go to this service, they will print your label, put it on an existing product, and then you can sell it, okay? This is the correct way to do it, all right? Now, to be fair, when I first started, this wasn't really a thing, but today, 2024, 2025 onwards, there is a lot of services like this, so you have no excuse to do that. You do not want to be stuck with a shed ton of inventory that you just can't shift, okay? So, 2 is if possible, drop ship it. All right. Now, if you are going straight in with a custom formulation, for example, or it's a product you're building from scratch, the key thing that you need to focus on, if this product just doesn't exist and you're 100% firm in the commitment that this is something that you really want to do, you want to ensure that your MOQs, which is your minimum order quantities from the supplier, are as low as possible. Okay, this is the trick when you're speaking to suppliers, is particularly so if we just stick on supplements, the food industry is inherently slow. They only want big orders, right? Sometimes they're even hard to find. I think when I first tried to find my first factory, it took me, I think I phoned 52, and 50 of those 52 either wouldn't even take the call, or they were just not interested because they didn't exist, they didn't know who I was, they didn't have any track record, and you're probably going to face similar things, okay? But your point of leverage, if you have a key point of difference, if you're doing a custom formulation, the key for you to make this, the key for you to be able to reduce your liability, and by liability I mean risk, is you want to ensure that you can get as low an order quantity as possible, at least for your first batch, okay? This is like, see this go wrong so many times, all right? So, obsessing over the market, okay, because remember, no one cares about you, okay? The market only cares about itself. So, if you're going to market a generic product to a specific sub-niche, this is important, okay? This is why you build your branding. And I don't mean spend 2 months working on a logo, because no one cares, okay? Think about the consumer. I need you to obsess over your market. Who are they? How do they think? Like, what are their problems? Remember, you're paid in direct proportion to the level of the problem or set of problems that you solve, all right? So there is ways to reposition existing products, yeah, because it's all marketing, let's be honest, right? You can reposition, or you can change around the value proposition for most products if you target it to a specific niche, sub-niche, same word. And this is what you need to focus on first and foremost, okay? Don't focus on buying stock. You need to focus on building the systems, okay? Because you have to market, you have to start selling ideally before you commit anything to inventory, okay? Like if I knew this would have saved me years and years and years, okay? I would have actually understood, okay, I have an original hypothesis about who I think my market is, but if you look at my company, I was selling to parents. I wasn't a parent. I didn't have a kid who played high-level sport. I knew nothing about it. So the only thing I could use is conjecture. The only thing I could use to sell on is assumption-based. And assumptions in business is a dirty word. You do not ever want to use assumptions. You need to get out. You need to speak to your target customers. And there's one thing, customers saying that, yes, they'll buy the product from you, but it's a whole other thing, them actually giving you their card details, or actually letting you take a deposit or taking payment in advance. Because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters. It doesn't matter what people, your friends, those around you say. It only matters what they do. Okay, so you need to really, really focus and obsess over your market, know more about them than they know about themselves. This is what you then use to build your systems. And by systems, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, so you've got this is just a Shopify store. Okay, this has obviously multiple facets and elements, which again, I can do a whole video on kind of store optimization, all of that. These are all systems you need to have set up before you launch. Okay. Not after, not during, okay? So you have Shopify, you have email marketing, okay? Do not sleep on email marketing, all right? I understand if you're going TikTok shop or maybe on Amazon that these guys do not give you customer data, all right? I'm talking about building a brand with true exit value, something that you can actually control and nurture relationships and bonds with customers, okay? So don't sleep on email marketing. You've got your store, you've got your email marketing. Within this, you've kind of got all the social media side of things. But in terms of like core systems, I would not even think about marketing, which is obviously the whole other thing here, which encapsulates it. Everything here technically falls under marketing until you've got your store optimized, you've got your email marketing set up, even if it's just what you're trying to orchestrate, which is your post-click experience, okay? So this is someone who showed interest, but they just haven't purchased yet, okay? If someone through your marketing goes to your website and you're not able to capture their data, their information through email, that's it. You've paid for them to go to the website. You've got one shot to convert them, and that's it. They're back off into the ether and you're out of pocket, okay? If you have your email marketing set up, you can incentivize them. There's strategies through this to collect the email, and then you nurture relationships with them, okay? And the good thing about all of this is you don't actually even have to have product in stock, okay? You can sell products before you have them. You can create hype because you can use pre-orders, okay? As long as you communicate or over-communicate it with those early adopters or customers, some people will still buy from you, they will reserve. And this always just comes back down to marketing, okay? Marketing is the most important thing. Marketing is more important than pretty much anything, okay? Because you've committed cash to inventory, okay? You don't know how to sell it. What solves the problem? Marketing, okay? So it seems so basic when I kind of outline it like this. It doesn't need to be like a 2-hour long video, but if you have this obsessive focus over the market before, not after, before you find a product, or before you buy inventory, or before you set up the systems to dropship something, this is the only thing that matters is here, okay? You need to have a good, thorough, deep understanding of your market, and you need to know them more than they know themselves. If you want to know how to do that, I have 3 criteria which I want you to follow. If you're thinking about setting up, if you're thinking about setting up a brand, whatever, dropshipping store, supplement company, it's pretty simple, okay? First and foremost, you must use the product yourself, okay? So you have at least a niche of one, target audience of one. Why do I say that? Because no one knows you better than yourself, okay? If this is something you would buy, use and get value from, or something you already buy, you now know, okay, this is me, this is my situation, this is how this product's helped me. Now all I need to do is find more people with the same situation that I'd have. And also you can build a narrative as the founder, as a founder-led organization, as opposed to a faceless entity. Because remember, people buy from people, okay? If you can manufacture or white label or dropship something you use and get value from yourself, you already have a customer, okay? You just need to find more like-minded people. And guess what? No one knows you more or better than you know yourself, okay? Number 2, is it must solve a very high pain point, all right? And a lot of products that are pretty easy to dropship or white label, 9 times out of 10, they're in a red ocean, okay? So they don't really solve a high pain point. As I said before, you pay it in direct proportion to the level of the problem that you solve or set of problems that you solve, okay? If you want to think about it from a market perspective, because again, this is the only thing that truly matters, a good analogy to use is you want a starving market with a bleeding neck. Okay, this is how high you want the pain point to be, because the higher the pain point, the less resistance there is to buy, the easier it is for you to position the product. Okay, that's like, just think of it on a scale of 1 to 10. The higher the pain point, the higher it is to 10, the less friction and the easier it's going to be for you to sell and pitch something. Okay, and in terms of your force multipliers on the back of that, it falls into these. So you have time, quality, to see, and cost. Those off, okay? These are your force multipliers when it comes to solving a problem. So time, you do it quicker. Quality, you do it better. And cost, you can do it either at a better price or it's more cost effective than any other solution out there, okay? So again, don't sleep on this in terms of if you are looking for a problem, if you are in a crowded niche, same thing. If you want to find a strategic point of difference that isn't in the formulation or in the design, these can be your force multipliers. But just be aware, do not try to compete on cost, okay? Because if you go down on cost just to undercut a competitor, trust me, it's a race to zero. And if you're in direct to consumer, ecom, Shopify, Once you build in your cost per acquisition, it becomes very difficult for you to make profit, okay? So I'd far rather you do the opposite and you price high and justify, as opposed to going, because otherwise it's a race to zero. If your competitors have more buying power than you, if they're more established, they can afford to take a hit, or if they have more returning customers, they can afford to make a loss. You know what I mean? All of this stuff comes in. So I'd far rather you position as a premium product, yeah? And the way you position as a premium product is by these other false multipliers, so it does something better, yeah, or faster than whatever else is out there in this supposed red ocean, okay? And the third thing in my commandments is you must be able to make margin, which is kind of closely linked to the cost side of things, okay? If you want a safe zone of margin, I would say bare minimum 2.5 times the cost of the raw cost of the product, or I would say in ecom, bare bones 65% on gross margin, okay? That should allow you enough meat on the bones to actually sell the product, okay? And again, if we just stick on supplements, a lot of the time, this all links back into the systems, and mostly around email marketing as well, which most people sleep on, is by the time you factor in the cost of acquisition, because a supplement is generally low cost, okay? So say for consumer, it's gonna be between 40 and 80 bucks. Once you factor in acquisition cost that you're gonna pay Facebook, TikTok, whatever, to get to acquire the customer in the first place, most times you're either gonna barely break even or you're gonna make a small loss. At which point, if you want to really rock it, if you really want things to compound, you really have to focus on building a good, solid, strong relationship with your consumer. All right. So when you have them, you keep them. You don't just focus on the front end. It's not just kind of this typical drop shipping pump and dump cycle that I see so many people do, which, trust me, it's no fun, because guess what? You get to the start of a new month. Okay, had a great month, but guess what? You're only as good as your last month. This month you start back at zero again. Where's your next customer coming from? Okay, it's no fun. Good thing with supplements, again, is they are consumables, which means technically if the product is good, customers will come back, and then you can build an MRR, monthly recurring revenue. You can stretch out the LTV, your lifetime value, okay? And the secret to doing this is pretty much all, again, in your email marketing. Okay, do not sleep on this. This is like so important, because we're trying to build a brand, a real brand with exit value. We're not just so focused on the front end. Although yes, the front end is important to acquire. If you want to build something that's sustainable and profitable, when you have a customer, bear in mind you've paid to get this customer, you must do everything in your power to retain and keep this customer. Okay, so I don't want to spend too long on this, but hopefully I'm getting my point across eloquently, is if you are starting your own store, do not commit cash to inventory. Find a low cost way, or a supplier who will either give you a very low MOQ, or in the beginning, find something or someone that will allow you to drop ship and just put your label on. It's not forever, it's not perfect. And guess what? You're probably not going to make anywhere near enough margin in the beginning, but all you're trying to do is to verify and validate your idea. You want to create a tribe, a community. You want to validate that whatever specific angle or niche you're going into is something that can scale. All right, and if you can do this with low cost, low overhead, now all of a sudden, instead of you dumping 20, 30K of your life savings into stock, you can put 10 of that into marketing. That's actually going to yield tangible results with very little to no risk for you, other than you committing your time to getting things off the ground. Okay, so again, don't want to belabor it too much. I hope this is valuable. And as I said, this is all mistakes that I made 7, 8, 9 years ago. I did manage to get myself out of it, but it was incredibly stressful. All right, I still remember that first day. Turned the website on. I got one sale off my friend because he felt sorry for me. Left with all this inventory. I'm like, shit, now what? And this took me on this whole journey of understand sales and marketing and systems and automation. And I spent the next year and a half traveling the length and breadth of the UK every single weekend, going to speak to prospective customers, okay? And I did that as long as I could. I would literally, I hadn't in my car, I'd hire a car or a van on the weekend, drive down to a swim meet or, I don't know, Olympic meet, or track and field event or school, whatever, like with a trestle table instead of my product, and just hand out free samples. And I wasn't doing it to get sales, I was doing it to speak to the customer, because the information I learned from that, which more than anything else, I was looking for objections as to why someone wouldn't buy. This then fed straight back into my store, straight back into my marketing. So my marketing Shopify still coming through. All of this information fed straight back into my marketing, which meant that when I was then able to put that cash that I got from the early sales into digital marketing, I had that point of resonance, okay? I wasn't then basing these marketing claims or terms on assumptions. I was basing it on real, hard customer data and feedback from them. This is what managed to get me kind of past that hump, sell through that stock, and then come back and just continue to improve. I continue to order more and more and more stock, okay? Again, the cash flow is a completely separate thing. But if you want to save your business for that first 6 to 12 months, do not buy inventory. And if you do, make sure your MOQ is slow, okay? And focus 98% of your time and attention on marketing. At the end of the day, this is the only thing that matters, okay? And guess what? There's a market for everything, okay? If for whatever reason your product isn't selling, it's probably nothing to do with the market, it's probably nothing wrong with the product, and there's very high likelihood that there's a problem with you because you do not understand sales and marketing, or you do not have the systems on the back end that facilitate you to actually capture. So you're capturing, you're holding, and then you're converting that attention into currency. Because let's be honest, that's the only job of your website, okay, of your marketing, is to convert attention into dollars, okay? And that's it. Yeah, I don't have to drone on and kind of go over these points again. I hope this is useful. I don't want you to make the same mistake. Don't be like me, okay? Listen to me, all right? Don't make the same mistakes. So watch this video, implement it. Any questions, stick it in the comments. I'll come back to you. And yeah, thanks for watching. Allow it.